good must always triumph over evil. I think it's like when you come up against bullies. At a certain point, you actually say, enough is enough. We are shown on TV every day how the political parties fight each other and how the opposition stand up and shout, but nothing changes. So I think people eventually get a bit tired, but if you really sit down and look at it, there's an easy solution. It's within the grasp of ordinary people. So let the politicians go on shouting, but actually let's get down and make a difference. Everybody felt that we must stop this deal because it's basically ruining the future of South Africa. We have a democracy, we have a constitution, we have rules, and the people who were pushing this nuclear deal seem to feel that those rules were simply options that you could just put aside when you just want to go after something. And so I think it was basically people said, no, we're going to stand up to the bullying. It's something that bothered a lot of people who we spoke to. You're working from a principled position, so you do what's right, and hopefully the universe works in your favor. We would be sitting in debt to the Russians for R1 trillion, and the places where the money should be going into development of people is not happening. So R1 trillion can go a long way. It's add 500 Rand a month to all of the people getting social grants for 10 years. When we started to look also at how nuclear gets procured and the subsidies and the interesting, should I say, financial arrangements that come up, then we started to look a bit more closely. And I think the trigger was which was way back in 2014, is when the Minister of Energy then signed that deal with the Russians, and the Russians sort of publicized it on their website as a great thing, and we found out Earthlife broke that story because there was a Russian activist in town and he read the Russian, and then the South African government immediately denied it, and suddenly it vanished off the Russian website, and it was no, there's no deal. So that, I think, was a big red flag. It's like there's something going down here. We put in access to information requests to government to find out what was happening. Did Treasury know anything about this in the beginning? And all of those requests and all of that paperwork helped to strengthen the case. So by the time we got to the courts, and by the time we felt that the only sort of way forward now was a court case, we were well prepared, and that enabled the lawyers to actually then take that case and make it a very strong one.
No, nuclear energy! No, nuclear energy! No! Stop corrupt nuclear deals! No! Stop corrupt nuclear deals! No!
They were relying on sort of outdated policies. From my layperson's view, I was like, well, I don't really see how they're going to argue this. When we were sitting in court and listening to the government lawyers, it was very difficult to see what their points were. It was over so quickly. There were 4 points to that judgment, and as we went through, I was like, okay, wow, we've got that one, and that one, and that one, and the fourth one. And so I was, very excited. What was somewhat surprising was the government's response, which seemed to be taken aback that they had lost. It wasn't just a victory of two small organizations. This was a victory against bad process, against bad governance, and therefore a victory for the people of South Africa. The question is now we all have to remain vigilant, and everybody should get involved now. People mustn't believe the story that they're powerless. We do live in a democracy. We have the right to stand up. We have the right to protest. And so people must use it.
Stop the nuclear deal! Stop the nuclear deal! Stop the nuclear deal!
There are a number of organizations in this country that if you think that legal action is the only way to stop this corruption, that you will find partners, you know, in the Legal Resource Centre, which helped us with the nuclear case. The Centre for Environmental Rights also looks at things. There's Corruption Watch. There are lots of NGOs with a bunch of lawyers who can actually get on board. They may have the legal team, but they need the backup. They need you to actually go and look for facts and figures and bring it to them. So what we really need is active citizens. You don't have to be some big organization. Everybody can play a part.